Hi everyone, welcome to Master Your Mental Health. It's Jacqueline, Alyson. Welcome to September.
Yes, September.
That happened.
Yes.
I can't believe that we're already in September to start out with.
I know. Time is flying so fast. It's going at such a speed. But here we are in September, but we are pretty much officially calling it Stresstember.
I call it Checktember.
Checktember, which is that's part
which
of
is
the
part
stress.
of the stress, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I tell you. It really is the new year.
Yeah.
Like I say, Happy New Year. Here we are, September, because...
You're right, actually. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, more families are...
Yeah.
It's more important to them than January 1st.
Yeah.
It's the new year, and everything begins again.
Yeah.
School, and all the activities, and all the pressure, and... all sorts of things. So yes, here we are in the middle of Stresstember. So part of what we want to talk about today is about how to take care of yourself, how to take care of your family through September, and how actually you can use it as a real opportunity to launch into the year that you want ahead.
That's a good point. I mean, because you want to set the tone early for what kind of success that you're wanting to achieve as a family in the coming year. And part of what especially because it was also an organizing problem when my kids were little, if my son had a game, we all went. If my daughter had a game, we all went. So it was kind of like unless they were at the same time, which can happen, but usually like we used it as a way for all of us to travel in a group initially, and then we'd stop at White Spot and have something to eat. That was my bribe for getting the son to come to the daughters field hockey, blah, like that, right?
So let me get it straight. So you would actually use a lot of the running around as time to kind of enhance some family time and actually get you guys all together. That's good.
Because honestly, you don't otherwise I wouldn't have a chance to actually talk to my kids. They're captive audience in the car. They're actually as long as they're not plugged into headphones or screens. I use this as an opportunity to talk to my kids. Also because I'm not facing them, they're kind of talking to the back of my head. Right. I think it made it easier for them to say things that maybe sometimes they weren't comfortable saying, or so that actually I felt was a good opportunity to ask my kids how things were going.
Well, I think that's a great point, Jackie, because car time can be some of the best time. And as much as we are struggling with traffic, sometimes there's a gift in having those moments, those quiet moments. It is about trying to get off the phone and not have them just lost in that. But you can have whole different levels of conversations in the car. In particular, we call it, in my field, we call it side-by-side intimacy. Yeah, which is a lot easier for some people than face-to-face. Right? Like like that side-by-side, like us right now. Side-by-side intimacy.
Yeah. Right? And having a conversation. And it was, and so especially in September when there was so much, we didn't know whose schedule was going where, and so we would just kind of glom together. One of the other things that I remember doing when the kids were smaller, we lived in a place and we had a hot tub, and so we used to go and sit out at the hot tub and another quiet time, no phones.
Right. Quiet times are so important to find in family life. Yeah,
and it's hard to carve that
distractions
out in such a busy time of the year.
That's another thing too. Another little bit of a tip is, because there is a lot of coming and going in September, and people are stressed. Like, first of all, you've got your whole schedule changes. Structure is actually good for us. We thrive in structure. So putting structure back in is not a bad thing. It's just a little bit painful in the process. And one of the things we would do, or I encourage people to do, is, you can use your phone in a smart way, making sure that everybody's activities are on the phone so that you can keep a track of that. So you can just look and go, okay, Tuesday I know where I'm going. I know who I'm going. Here's the address in there. Like, use your technology in a smart way
to your advantage
to lighten the load a little bit, and have the kids doing that as well, so that you can communicate that well. So when they get hey, I've got a test in English at Tuesday at afternoon, it can go into the calendar and everybody can know that. So putting structure back in place, as much as we resist it, is really good for us. So
My daughter's school actually was well aware of that, and you had the option to download the school calendar, but it even meant everything, like Spanish tests or French, like all of it.
Yeah.
So I had a running exactly knew exactly what was required of my kids that week at a glance, and I really thought that was a really good initiative on the part of her school. She went to a different school than my son, but it's very smart.
And I think more and more schools are doing that as they're becoming more technologically advanced.
Yeah.
And parents are wanting that.
Yeah.
So some of the things are, we know, use the activities where you can for family time. Use your electronics to help organize yourself. Know that these opportunities of everybody being a bit stressed out are actually a platform to talk about some of these difficult things with your kids. And you can talk to them about, summer's ended and September's here. What is the thing you think you lost? What is the thing you think you gained?
Right.
And have them exploring, the full side of an experience, not just the negative.
And where they see, maybe also one thing to add might be talk to them about where they see themselves at the end of the year and what their goals for the year are. Like, in order to structure the long-term versus the short-term payback.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, because I think you lose sight of it in the sort of day-to-day crunch of things.
So it's probably good to do some short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah.
Right? And so you can, even sit down with them and get some pens and paper and do things like that. And what do you want to accomplish by the end of September? What do you want to accomplish by Christmas? What do you want to accomplish by the end of the year? And not just about pressure on them, but part of those accomplishments can be self-care. Right?
Sports, or I want to take a class, or I want to. All of those things are important, and that's the other thing with teaching balance, right? So it's like, and also what I used to do was put like our holiday or vacation, or I'd put plans in there too. So it'd be like, okay, well, we're going to work really hard, and then we're going to do, we're going to go to Whistler,
we all need our rewards,
or something, right?
We all need our treats.
Yeah,
right?
And it doesn't have to be a fancy trip. It could be a movie, or something like that, and something you could all do together. So, there's lots of ways of doing that. One thing I want to mention, because I do feel like Checktember is real.
Yeah, it is
and
real.
A lot of families do experience financial stress in September, particularly around sports and extracurricular
all
activities.
The extra costs.
I'm going to do some investigating. I do know of an organization that does give kids help for their sports activities. It's called Athletes for Kids. I've done some. I participated in some of their activities to raise money for kids who need the help financially in order to pursue a sport. I'll leave some of the links that I find, and I'll leave them in the description box there, because we all recognize, I think, that the financial burden is real.
It is real, and it's a lot of extra all at once, and it really is. I mean, a Checktember. They, even when your kids get older. My children are university age now, but I mean, it's tuition, it's books, they need new things. And
just got a text from my son. This is literally his text. Okay. Sorry, son, but this is tuition is quite expensive this year because I'm in business now. $4,700 a semester plus housing, $61.97 for housing, so around $15,000 for the year.
Yeah. So it doesn't stop. I don't want to scare anybody off. It's just and we want to, but we have to plan for those things, and also, like our children contribute as well.
Yeah.
But the financial strain is real, and part of, I think it is planning and putting some aside and
RESP type situations. See your financial advisor,
which is a good.
Even if you don't have a lot of money, you can see a financial advisor. They will see you. You don't have to be rich to see a financial advisor. It might be worth it, especially if you're struggling with debt or needing to figure out finances. I think it's a smart move, so that might be something to do too.
No, these are all good points. Anything else, Jackie, that from a health perspective too, that
sleep, nutrition, self-care in September for parents and children. Sleep. We did a video on sleep. I will link it right here. But in terms of health, I really think, and also flu season, hand washing.
Right.
Like reiterate that again with your kids.
Good point.
Yeah,
because everybody gets the flu.
Yeah,
it's a cold. The cold.
Yeah, it's the September or October flu and all that. So yeah, if we could remind everyone about hygiene, that'd be great too. But that's about it from my point of view.
And my thing I would say too, like when you're talking about self-care, is it doesn't have to be a big exhaustive regime of self-care. Just look for the moments you can listen to a song. You can go for a walk, even if it's literally just around the block.
Going for a walk is free.
Yeah, it's free, and it sometimes really does clear your mind.
Yeah.
And so there's lots of things we can do that are small but important gestures of self-care.
Yeah.
And also pat yourself on the back. You're working hard, pat yourself on the back, right?
We're making it through September.
Yeah, so keep going, and it's October will be here before we know it.
Exactly. Well, that's all from us for now. Any questions, comments? Put them in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe by pushing a button. There should be a button up here or here, or down here or here. I can't remember where I put them.
Yeah, and also just a reminder too that Jackie and I are not. Jackie's not giving medical advice. And I'm not doing therapy. Yeah. We're just sharing some of our tips and insights in regards to health and mental health, and want to help you master your mental health while we're working on mastering our mental health too.
She said it. Yay. That's exactly it. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.